First at 10, immigrant communities in search of help after two recent Supreme Court rulings that impact many people's legal standing in the U.S. The Supreme Court ruled just yesterday that the Trump administration can rescind protections for Cuban, Haitian, Nicaraguan, and Venezuelan immigrants under a humanitarian parole program. The other ruling last week allows the federal government to strip protections from Venezuelan holders of temporary protected status, or TPS. In light of that ruling, members of Orlando's Venezuelan immigrant community came together to seek legal advice today. They are worried that their lives could turn upside down. West New's David Jones joining us live in studio tonight. He was at a special event at a church here in Orlando. David, they talked with attorneys. What did they tell you?
They described those legal options that are still available for these Venezuelan migrants, even as they stand to lose their temporary protected status. Last week's decision lets the Trump administration strip TPS from around 350,000 Venezuelan nationals living in the U.S., including some who showed up today.
Because we have been basically giving orientation to most of the people that are right now in a kind of limbo.
A seminar on a heavy subject.
They should be starting to get into action in regards to the immigration status, because this is imminent.
Temporary protected status, or TPS, started in 1990. It's given to people who leave countries because of things like war, famine, political instability in the case of Venezuelans, to remain in the U.S. legally and get work authorization for up to 18 months, subject to extension. The protections were extended for thousands of Venezuelans at the end of the Biden administration, but the Trump administration is looking to end them. The end of TPS status for Venezuelan immigrants does not necessarily mean deportation, though.
Labor certifications, professional visas, going and filing petitions, or like a family petition, it all depends. Not everyone has the same profile, like an immigrant profile right now. There are a lot of people with asylum applications that are pending.
Majority of the options got success, but of course that involves cost, fees, not only fees to pay to the state, to the government, but also high fees to pay to an attorney.
Lisette San Pedro and her husband have asylum and have applied for TPS. She says she's disheartened by those who point to criminals to describe the cases of all Venezuelans in this country.
I have a master. I'm working in aviation for 20 years, and why they want to put in the same bag? Because we are not here like this. We are people that we are studying. We are professional people.
A U.S. citizen since 31 years ago. And you know what? Look what I carry in my pocket right now. Because, I'm scared that one day something might happen on the traffic and I can be detained and I don't have an American face.
TPS status will end for different nationality groups at different dates, but this most recent court order means as of now, the fate of those Venezuelans on TPS is in limbo. Luana.